as part of Back to Basics Fundamental Bushcraft, I wanted to look at the Ferro Rod, which most people are familiar with. Although when instructing students using these, I was very surprised that a lot of students don't have the physical strength in their hands or their arms to use these correctly or efficiently. So I thought it'd be sensible just to do a very basic refresher demonstration and talk about ferro rods in general. So the basic ferro rod is pretty standard. You have a rod, ferrocerium, and a striker. You have an up section on the striker. You put the rough bit, or often a ridge, against a striker, and you push down to create it. That's one type. A type slightly larger. On this one, you can actually, there's a rough edge there, and the aim is to scrape metal off the rod with the scraper, and that's what creates the sparks. These strikers are quite hard to use in terms of they're quite small, and your hand on the rod is quite limited. You actually need to press down quite considerably. The issue with pushing down with a striker into your kindling is that you often knock the kindling, knock out the hot air, knock out the embers. Another method to show is to use the spine of a knife against the rod, and what I'm doing is pulling back with the rod in this occasion, and because the knife has obviously a bigger handle, bigger surface area, the spine is nice and sharp at a right angle, I can scrape off a lot of metal from the ferro rod to get the good sparks. Again, the issue with this is that it can be a little bit hard to direct the sparks where you want it to go. With young students, just practicing and learning with a ferro rod, and often you'll get them to do it with a piece of cotton wool. So you often find that they will push and they will end up knocking whatever they're trying to light away. So that has the effect of any heat they have built up by some sparks that may have come near it gets dissipated, and it just knocks the kindling away. So rather than hold it up in the air and they just bang away like that, I ask them to rest it. So they're using a lever force, so they're just supporting the rod in the cotton wool, and then they can push down like so straight into the cotton wool. So that's an easier method for them to have a go at. So let's try a slightly different way. So again, they're using cotton wool. What we want them to do, ideally, is to put weight on their hand, this hand, the right hand with a striker, and then pull back with the left rod, so you're not actually hitting the cotton wool or the kindling that you're trying to light. That's ideal, but a lot of students will struggle with that. As mentioned earlier, once students get familiar with this and have a go at this, it's then a good idea for them to have a go with birch bark. Obviously outside, if you can get hold of some silver birch bark, that's ideal. What I tend to do is scrape it. So what we're trying to get is the little flakes, and little curls of the skin off the bark, like so. Also silver birch. The birch in general holds a lot of volatile oils and will catch generally quite easily. So I'm just shaving little bits off, and again preparation is the key. I'm trying to get little dry bits off. As you're going around the woods, you naturally are collecting silver birch, put them in your pocket, dry it off, and there we go. We've got a very good bundle of birch. So one of the other methods I wanted to show is literally to hold the knife on the bundle, so it's there, that's where I want it to strike. I'll use a smaller one, and then I'm going to pull back with the rod into the bundle. There we go. Having the knife angled into the bundle forces the sparks to go straight down into it. So that's quite a good method to try and use. I hope people found that slightly useful. I wanted to do it as a refresher. As mentioned, when I teach at forest schools, that is one of the areas that people tend to struggle with.